Welcome back to our second race of the night here in the United States of the Americas. Yeah, that's fucked up. In the United States of America at the Circuit of the Americas. And we already have 2 disqualifications on our formation lap. Eskimo and Doradon had a little cuddly moment. That means both are disqualified. After our action-packed and hectic race around Baku, I'm personally hoping for my heart rate that it's a little bit smoother and calmer around Austin, Texas. Corleone finishing in P12 in Baku as our last finisher. That means he's starting on pole position here. Ultimate Stan in P2, Eskimo, Pro Oliver, Doradon following them, Rob in P6, Spooner starting from P7, Nick P8, Walterby P9, Chappie in P10, our winner of Baku is Racing Gupt. He's starting in P11. I'm a little bit confused why Castor is starting in P17. That's probably down to a mistake by me as I set up the lobby like a fucking retard, it seems like. So sorry for that, Casto. If you ever watch this stream back, please accept my apology, otherwise my heart rate will go up again. Raisin starting in P16. He's joined for this track after he missed Baku. Both McLarens in P13 and 14, followed by Takunia, who DNF'd very early on lap 1 around Baku. The grid is forming up now. We take a closer look at the tyre choice, and we only have Ultimate Standard Pro Oliver on mediums, everybody else on softs, as 5 red lights are out right now, and Codemasters is tricking us again. That means the start is delayed as always. Thank you, Aramco, for joining us with Energy's opportunity. I don't feel your energy at all right now, but the boys should. And hopefully we'll feel the energy any second as they start for the second race of the night here on the Scientist Reverse Grid League. It seems like Codemasters has different plans here, fooling us a little bit at the start. Now we hear some engine sound. That means they're revving, and that means we have a start right now, just a little bit delayed. Corleone in P1, under attack by Ultimate Stan. Early at the start I saw an M plate flying, a red one, seems like it was a Ferrari. Massive move into turn 1. Oh, there's a car jumping! It's a Merc! Or an AlphaTauri. There was a car jumping all over the place, and we have our first safety car. It's the first safety car tonight. We only had virtual ones around Baku. Cars are rejoining the track everywhere. And we have a clear start winner in Ultimate Stan, who took first place from Corleone and is now leading the race on his medium tires. Pro Oliver, I think, lost a few positions, but let's take a closer look at that. Yeah, so Ultimate Stand gaining 1, Corleone losing 1. Everyone behind them, Doradon, Racing Gup, Nick, Spooner gaining a lot of positions, especially Gup from P11 up to P4. That means there must have been a massive racing incident, or not racing incident, a starting incident into turn 1. We saw a car jumping over another car. There must have been some damage all over the place. Eskimo down in P7 as we have a 5-second penalty for Moshe and Casto. They collided. That means a 5-second penalty for them behind the safety car. Pro Oliver down to P8. Rob also lost 3 positions down to P9. Raisin gained 6 up to P10, and a lot of guys on the softs are coming. Ultimate Stan is out! Very sorry, boys. Ultimate Stan is out. He crashed his car while driving into the pits. You must be shitting me. He DNF'd while driving into the pit lane. He must be fuming. Gaining P1, fighting for it that hard, being on the medium tires, no need to pit. He decides to pit and then losing his car. Absolutely bloody horrible. No other words for that. Absolutely horrible. And that changes all of that. All the pit stops are changing the grid order massively. Dorada now in P1, Spooner in P2, followed by Prolova, Corleone in P4. But let's have a closer look at the pit stops, because Corleone is the first guy who has pitted. That means the top 3 hasn't pitted, and Corleone is in the net lead. Racing Good behind him in P5, Nick in P6, Eskimo P7. He didn't lose or gain a position here. Walter B in P8. You're in P9, Raisin still in P10, followed by Boltex, Rob, Casto, Chapi, DeCunha, and Moshe. The pack is behind the safety car right now. Let's have a closer look at penalties. Right now there are no penalties. That means Moshe and Casto both had their 5 seconds in the pits. So they have a fresh restart behind the safety car. No penalties next to the names. Everyone right now on the mediums except Doradan and Spooner in P1 and P2. So the task for both of them is to create a massive gap to all the medium runners. That's also the goal from Pro Oliver, but he has like the disadvantage to have the same compound on as all the guys behind him. Let's see if he maybe decides to pit. No, but Doradan is deciding to pit right now. Of course, he will be at the back of the pack, as the pack has already been very, very tight and close together behind the safety car. But Doradan decides to pit now, to maybe just stay behind the pack and wait for some more damage or incidents. Could be a clever strategy here by him. That means Spooner in P1 on the soft tires and Pro Oliver on the mediums have to put out some magical laps to get a very big gap to all the guys behind them. But it's not like they're slow or anything. It's just they need to get some really good pace on. So somehow, not somehow, Raisin is in P9. Of course he's in P9 because they're out and pitted. Everyone is jumping up the place. And Yor is the only guy on hards. He decided to go on the hard tire. A tricky one. I personally think the tire wear around USA is okay-ish. Not the hardest one, not the most brutal one, let's say like that. Although there are some very tricky sections, especially in Sector 1, the S section, and the tricky turns after that. We have a hard braking zone where the cars are now going into after the long straight. They're braking down into second, maybe sometimes just third gear. And then we have the snake section. We're going left and right and left and right. And as we go left and right, the safety car decides to come in on this lap. That means Spooner is making the pace on the softs in front of Pro Oliver Corleone and the rest of the field. And let's see if anything spectacular happens here. I'm almost afraid that something nasty could happen here as Yaw and Raisin are exchanging positions. And Spooner is not making the pace already, but it seems like he's going now. The safety car is not in yet, so the game could break him down, but no, perfect timing by Spooner. Already 2.2 seconds ahead of Pro Oliver, and Corleone is smelling something. Nick also going on the outside of Racing Gupta into turn 1. But no chance he gets in there. Trying on the outside again. Getting onto the inside for the S section. High speed corner taken here on the inside. And gaining the position up to P4 into the fast S section. A beautiful move by Nick to get the position here. Corleone is still in P3 and right now under attack from Nick. Casto getting a 3-second time penalty in P12 right now. And Spooner just with a beautiful restart, but something's happening here. We got a yellow flag in Sector 2. Let's see if someone is off track and losing positions right now. It's not clear who it is or was, as we have the green flags again. I think, yeah, it must have been Duradan, because he's very far behind the pack. Around 10 seconds behind, maybe he spun his car. But let's see what happens here. Spooner 2.7 seconds in front of Polova, bringing his tires down to work. Just 3 laps on his soft tires, 2 of them behind the safety car. That means there is a lot of life in it as Pro Oliver taking a very wide line, almost crashing into Corleone. Is going on the inside. They're almost touching. And Nick is very close behind Corleone, going on the inside into turn 1. Castro getting a position against Boltex, getting up to P11. Nick on the inside against Corleone. Sorry for switching that back. Now we're here. And Nick with the same move he did against Racing Good on the inside into the S section. But Corleone, sorry boys, using all of his ERS, staying on the ERS right now. Maybe he's forgotten to turn it off. Used all of his ERS here. He must turn it. He has to turn it down, otherwise out of that tricky section in the exit he has no traction there. Now he realized. But Nick is very close, and of course right now we don't have any DRS after the safety car, and Racing Goods is now trying to attack Nick, but still a very big gap between these both, as Raisin is trying to attack Walterby here on the inside, down into the hairpin. What beautiful move by Raisin. Calculated, clinical. Beautiful stuff. Absolute beautiful stuff. And as we take a closer look at Spooner, we see that the gap is up to 3.5 seconds. So Spooner is doing a very good job here, as we have yellow flags in Sector 2 and 3, and that's a Renault. And that's the Renault of Boltex King, who lost it in the snake section. Spooner with the fastest lap. Of course, he has to set quali laps right now. But Raisin returning the favor on his mediums, 34 flat. What a lap by him, up to P6 already. And Nick overtaking Corleone now out of turn 1, gaining 3rd position. Boltex King out of the race. Walterby getting a penalty, 3 seconds for him. And Racing Good out of this camera angle, very beautiful to see, with a wonderful move against Corleone, getting P4, and Corleone now under attack by all of the guys behind them. Racing Good going on the inside. Beautiful dive, not a dive bomb, just a beautiful dive. Again, very calculated. Corleone has no ERS left. That's very bad for him, but he's trying to attack Raisin here, putting him under pressure a little bit, but not even phased by it, as we have Pro Oliver and Racing Good are going on. Racing Good getting P3 here with an excellent move, and Oh, Raisin! Raisin is on a mission. What an overtake on Pro Oliver up to P4. And now we have Nick in P2, Racing Good P3, and Raisin P4. Raisin getting a penalty. Coming into the pits now. Raisin into the pits. Why is he into the pits? He just DNF'd. Well, that surprises me to say the least. Raisin is out of the race. Unfortunately, I don't know why. He just had a beautiful overtake up to P4, but right now he's out. I'm a bit shocked. I don't understand that. But the fact is, Raisin is out of this race. That means we're coming back to our leader, Spooner, who's 4.3 seconds ahead of Nick in P1. Racing Good in P3, 1.3 seconds behind Nick. Pro Oliver on P4. Walter B P5, Corley on P6, followed by his teammate Eskimo on P7. Still have yellow flags. It's a Merc, and I think that is the car of Raisin that is parked now to DNF. He DNF'd into the pits, a very clean move by him. Sometimes the game sends the car out again. That's not in his power. That's just the game, so everything's fine here. Let's take a closer look at the pit stop situation. Of course, Spooner still has to pit. Pro Oliver 2. Nothing has changed here. But a lot has changed regarding gained and lost positions here. Spooner gained 6, Nick gained 6, Racing Good gained 8. Pro Oliver now into the pits. Let's see where he comes out after his pit stop, and Spooner's making the tires work. Lap 8 already. Of course, we had a safety car, so he could save them a little bit, and he's staying on them as they have a little bit more grip. But I personally think he will come into the pits at the end of this lap. Walter be gaining 5 positions. Corleone losing 4 from P1 down to P5. Rob staying where he started. Very, very consistent. Eskimo losing 4. Casto gaining 9 places already. You're gaining 4. Chappie, also one of the consistent guys. Dacunia gaining 4. And Pro Oliver after his pit stop coming out in P12, losing ultimately 8 positions here. Gerardin getting another penalty. 3 seconds on top for him. Let's see where we are with our penalties. Spooner has a penalty right now. 3 seconds for him. Walterby with 3. Corleone already with 6, as has Casto. Chappie, Yaw, Dacunia, Pro Oliver, Mosher, and Gerardin all with 3 seconds. Let's take a closer look at Spooner. Maybe he's coming into the pits now. Let's see what he's doing. And he's coming into the pits. We're switching to Nick, Racing Good and Walterby. Right now we only have a few tight battles here between Rob, Eskimo, and Casto. And let's see where Spooner is coming out ultimately. He's just now into his pit box. That means all of the guys, including Casto, will overtake him in the pits. But it could be very interesting at the end of the race because of the fresher tire compound Spooner has now as he's coming out in P11 behind his teammate Dacunia. But he has fresh mediums right now. And we take a closer look at that. All of the guys have 6 lap old tires, mediums and hards. Spooner, the only one who's on fresh mediums. Pro Oliver on fresh softs, also big advantage for him, but he's around 9 seconds behind Spooner. So I'm laying myself out of the window here and just saying that Pro Oliver won't get Spooner when it just comes down to being faster on track. I don't think that the softs will gain him around 1.5 seconds a lap. But Spooner is on a mission now behind his teammate on fresh tires. Let's have a closer look here. Eskimo, Chappie, Yaw all in a battle. Chappie overtaking Yaw up to P8 now. Eskimo still in P7. Rob is now overtaking Casto on the outside, on the inside, in that nasty hairpin, side by side. Casto staying in front for the moment into the fast right-hander section. And they're still going at it. Casto in P5, Rob P6, Eskimo P7, all with DRS in a little train here. But Chappie closing the gap, trying to get them all. And we have a few more guys now with penalties. Walterby with 3. Of course, Corleone Casto still with 6. Chappie down to Gerardon, all with 3. Only Pro-Oliver also getting 6 seconds of penalties here. I think we don't have to watch at the pit stops again, as we've seen that everyone has pitted and they're all on mediums. Only Yaw on hards and Pro-Oliver Moshe Gerardon on softs from P12 to P15. Fastest lap by Moshe, a 133.8 on his softs. Beautiful lap by him. Casto now gained 12 positions in this race. Let's see where it's the tides right now. I think we're at it here with Rob, who's trying to attack Casto here on the outside into the hairpin, maybe to get a little undercut here. Looking for him right now. The good thing for Eskimo is as long as these guys are battling and he's making no mistakes, he's staying within the DRS and can gain a little bit from that battle just to have DRS and not being under attack by Chappie, who's closing the gap, who closed the gap by 3/10 on the last lap. At the front we have a very smooth picture with Nick in P1 3 seconds in front of Racing Good, followed by Walter B, who's trying desperately to get into the DRS of Racing Good. Corleone in P4, Castle P5. We're already here in that group with Rob in P6, Eskimo P7, and we have had an attempt of an overtake here from Spooner against Yaw. Didn't make it work. Chappie getting another penalty, and Spooner trying desperately to overtake as many guys in front of him as he possibly can. And Walterby has managed to get into the DRS of Racing Good, and he can make use of that right now on the long straight. Racing Good down to 25% ERS. Walterby already, oh not already, still with 40%. Right now he's just feeling the situation a little bit out, just showing himself in Racing Good mirrors to make him a little bit nervous maybe. As Yaw and Spooner are still going at it side by side. Yaw staying in front, Spooner trying to get the outside, switching onto the inside, staying on the inside by Yaw with a lot of speed. Spooner now on the inside. Let's see who has got more traction. It should be Spooner, but Yaw is defending that very, very well on the inside here. A beautiful camera angle from the high tower here. As Spooner has to stay behind Yaw for now, but onto the pit straight we go with DRS, and Rob still behind, not gaining here. Spooner now on the inside, trying to make that move work now. He's in front of Yaw. Yaw on the outside with a lot of overspeed, and Spooner desperately trying to get that position. Side by side. Are they touching? They have touched. Spooner is out. Massive crash. Very tight, going side by side into that S section. It's kill or be killed. Someone had to die. Someone died. It's Spooner. We have yellow flags in sector 1 and 2. Very unfortunate for him as he was on a run. Maybe to get a little bit more points here with fresh tires, but it came to an end, unfortunately, for Spooner. Chappie right now very close behind Eskimo. Only 0.2 of a second. Not trying to overtake him right now. Castle still in P5. Walterby still in P3. Not gaining a lot here, but Racing Good with a penalty now. And Castor already with 9 seconds. That's horrible for him. Rob will gain the position, but of course Rob wants to overtake Castor so he can come a little bit closer to Corleone and maybe get him on penalties too. Let's see if someone can make something happen here. Rob only half a second behind Castro, but Castro getting the DRS of Corleone. And Chappie is overtaking Eskimo right now on the inside with DRS. Clean move, beautiful move, both handling the situation very, very well. The good thing for Eskimo is he's penalty free. We're on the penultimate lap, he's penalty free, and he could gain a lot of positions here by just staying behind, staying within the DRS, keep a calm mind, and just keep it flowing. Corleone with another big penalty. 9 seconds for him, 9 seconds for Casto, only 3 for Rob, Chappie with 6, and Eskimo the lucky guy without any fucking penalties. Walter B closing the distance to Racing Good, but not able to overtake him right now. He has to wait until the last lap, both on similar levels of ERS, so this could be a very, very tricky one. A very, very tricky last lap. As Corleone is still defending from Casto and Rob. Chappie now closing the distance a little bit. Eskimo out of the DRS. Is maybe not trying to desperately get into the DRS, but he has a very good position here. He could just chill a little bit because all of the guys in front of him have massive penalties. As Doradan is collecting another one, that means also 6 seconds for him. As we're going up the hill into turn 1. Oh, Caster overshooting that corner a little bit. Let's see what Rob is doing here. He smelled it, but he wasn't able to taste it. Walter B collecting another penalty. 6 seconds for him. Let's see where he's going with that. And Castro has the chance to overtake Corleone now. They're going very slow through that section, so Rob is gaining a few tenths here and there. And Chappie is already within DRS. So now it comes down to this. First, we have to see if Walter B is getting Racing Good, but that's not likely. So let's switch to these boys. Casto, Rob, all of these guys using ERS, DRS, but because they're in the train, it's almost impossible. Casto tried to go on the inside, hard dive bomb. Corleone saw it coming on the outside, getting the position back against Casto. Oh, it's very close. It's very close between them. Rob very close behind them. Chappie and P7 still. 4 cars going at it. Eskimo losing a little bit ground here. What has happened to him? A few seconds behind, but he has to keep it calm. All of the guys are going at it here. Casto, P4, and that's Chappie P7 who's taking the spin. All of the guys are coming over the line. A lot of penalties here. Let's see where Eskimo's landing. Eskimo P4! Boy, you got it! That means Nick is winning the race at the Circuit of the Americas in front of Racing Group. Walter B in P3. Eskimo up to P4 because he stayed penalty free. Rob P5. Chappie P6. Corleone down to P7. Casto down to PA because of penalties. Look at the distance between Corleone and Casto. I mean the gap, not the distance. That's 72 thousandths. Sorry, 72 thousandths. Man, what's up? You're in P9, Ticunia P10, Pro Oliver P11, Moshe P12, and Doradan finishing any second in P13. That means all of the guys who have finished that race, oh, little show dance. All of the guys who have finished that race are collecting points for themselves and for their teams. Casto getting drive of the day. Very unfortunate for him to have that setback with the penalties, but still a very good drive by him to gain that many positions. And still finishing in P7 or 8. I'm not sure right now, but somewhere around that. Congratulations to Williams driver Nick, who won that race in beautiful fashion in front of Racing Gupt and Walter B. As always, keep a distance, boys, still COVID times, as we take a closer look at the finishing board. Nick finishing in P1, behind him on the podium Racing Gupt and Walter B, King Eskimo, with a clean drive into P4, Rob in P5, Chappie P6, Corleone P7, Casto gaining 9 positions up to P8, Yor finishing P9, Dicunia P10, Pro Oliver P11, followed by Mosha and Doradan. That means we still, and yeah, unfortunately have 3 guys who didn't finish that race. Spooner, Raisin, Boltex King, and Ultimate Stan. That was it, boys. That's it for the night. Both races in the Einstein League from the Scientist Reverse Grid League after Baku and USA. Me personally, I'm done. My heart rate is up to through the roof, especially after Baku. But that race was very, very intense too. So a beautiful night of races and just beautiful driving by the boys. Thank you for watching. Have a very nice weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I wish you much fun tomorrow with the qualifying at the Portuguese GP and on Sunday with the GP itself. Good night and stay clean, boys. Take care.